Welcome back for another review, this time for the anime From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. This one had 12 episodes and was airing in spring of 2025. The synopsis from AniList: Beryl Gardinant, a self-proclaimed humble old man, is a sword instructor at his dojo in a rural backwater village. In his younger years, he dreamed of glory as a master swordsman, but those days are long behind him. Out of the blue, he receives a visit from a famous former pupil who brings him word-shattering news. He has been appointed as a special instructor for the Knights of the Liberian Order. With his life now turned upside down, Beryl travels to the capital and reunites with some of his former students, elite knights, an ace wizard, and even an adventurer who's attained the highest guild rank possible. But why do they all want his tutelage? As far as he's concerned, they clearly don't need him anymore. Can Beryl live up to his new position, and will he ever get a moment's peace away from his adoring students? Now, this one was very surprising. The first thing we probably want to talk about is animation. Now, for the fights, they tend to use CG, or I guess maybe like a mix of CG, 2D, but the animation is pretty good. It is surprisingly good for the show, because I assume this would be like, junk shows, like just to show one of the many shows that get produced every season. But no, there is some budget behind it, or someone who cared, and the fights are pretty good. The fights look pretty good, animation is pretty nice. It's already surprising. Now, the story, as stated here, we have Beryl, who is an older gentleman. Again, it's one of the things that is a little bit surprising. And he gets appointed as a special instructor. Now, he gets appointed because his former pupil more or less recommends him to be appointed. Now, his word doesn't really get turned upside down. I don't know what the sentence really, he's just training other people. He is, as was stated, he had a dojo, he was training people, and after they got good enough, he was like, okay, you're done training, go out in the world and, get better by whatever you want to do. And he more or less does the same in the capital. He's now training the Knights of the Liberian Order, but in essence, he's just doing the same he did before. So I don't know what you mean turned upside down. Only point is that he's meeting a lot of his former pupils. I mean, not a lot of his former pupils, but there are quite a good amount. You see a couple here. We have like 1, 2, 3 pupils. I believe she's also one. It's already 4 pupils. We get to see a 5th one. So there are a lot of pupils he has. Now, he does have male pupils as well. You don't see them in this part of the story much because, not marketable, I guess. And we just follow him. Now, one of the big problems, humble old man, he's not really accepting that he's good at sword fighting. Everyone else is like, he's good. One of the parts, as is more or less normal in these types of stories, he comes to the Knights Order. He's like, okay, I'm the new special instructor. He's not stoic. He doesn't really have that, presence to be like the instructor. He's like a nice old uncle type of guy, at least for the presence side. So they naturally are like, hey, why would we listen to you? So they do a little mock exam. He's fighting one of the good students or one of the good knights, and if he wins, he gets the respect of everyone. If he loses, he doesn't get the job. This kind of thing. And people are like, yo, you are pretty good at sword fighting. We can learn from you. You're pretty good. He reminds me a little bit of the Red Ogre of the other story of the S-rank daughter. So he is a little bit similar, that he's very humble. I mean, there's one point to be humble, but he's just straight up ignoring his own abilities. Now we do get some other story bits. There is some other stuff going on as the story progresses. But the main part at the beginning is like, hey, we go there, we get to meet someone else. He's playing like a father figure. Another good point for me, he does acknowledge that some of his pupils seem to be interested in him. So this is another part that I do like. So he's straight up acknowledging, hey, yeah, I understand some of them may look at me romantically. However, it's a little weird. So he is acknowledging that. He's like, nah, this is not, I'm an old man, they are young girls, they get over me. It would not work out. I do like that. Instead of being like, oh no, just ignoring it, he's like, okay, I know, I'm not going to do anything. Cool. Nice. We know where this is, where he stands. It could change at some point, but we now have an idea. Then we have like a bigger conflict, church and kingdom or royalty. Like in most fantasy stories, they don't like to get along with each other because both of them want to be like the ruling party. And we get like some other story bits. Overall, this one was pretty enjoyable. Again, good animation. The main character is pretty likable. You have a lot of pupils, a lot of different ones. You know, no one of those is really special, in my opinion. But they're all fine. It was pretty surprising, this one. People on AniList gave it a 70%, 69, nice. And my AniList gave it a 7.05. I would say it is a 7 out of 10. It is a high 7 out of 10 in my opinion. It is pretty good for what the story is. Again, the animation is definitely above average to good. I like the main character. He's not wishy-washy. He's not ignoring that there could be romance. He's acknowledging it and, you know, having his stance. I only don't like that he's the humble type of guy. Don't really like that. The other female characters, they're a little bit bland in that, you know, you know the type of characters they are. Otherwise, of all the stories I have seen, this one is pretty good. Pretty good. Not good enough to go into that A territory where I would, you know, start recommending it to people. But if you watched this episode, you definitely did not waste your time.